You've probably wondered, right? Why do search engines, even today, get things so wrong? Well, today we're going to dive into the mind of Daniel Tunkelang. He was one of the key architects of the modern internet. And he believed the answer to that question comes down to one really powerful idea. Search isn't about finding things, it's about translation.
Okay, so let's just start with a feeling I know we've all had. You type something into a search box, you're so sure you know what you're looking for, and the results that come back are just so bizarre, you literally have to look at your screen and wonder, is this thing even listening to me?
And this right here is the absolute heart of the problem. We type in something short, like red kicks, but what's actually going on in our head is way more complex, right? We're thinking, I need some stylish red sneakers, for casual wear. The search fails because there's this huge gap, this fundamental translation problem, between our messy, nuanced human thoughts and the computer's super rigid, totally literal logic.
So the big question is, how do you bridge that gap? Well, we're going to follow the journey of the person who basically made this his life's work. First, we'll get to know the man himself. Then we'll see how he tamed the chaos of early e-commerce, how he translated human intent over at LinkedIn, and how he totally redefined what a good search result even is. And then we'll see how all of this gives us a really sharp way to look at modern AI.
All right, let's kick things off with the big idea. To really fix search, Daniel Tunkelang realized the entire industry needed a massive shift in thinking. He saw that this wasn't really a computer science problem at its core. No, it was a human problem.
See, he argued that search isn't just about matching a bunch of keywords on a page. It's about translation. And think about what a really great human translator does, right? They don't just swap words one for one. No way. They get the nuance, the culture, the context, all to convey the true meaning. And that, he said, is what a search engine really needed to do.
And Tunkelang's background was just perfect for tackling this. He had this deep foundation in both pure math and computer science. We're talking MIT and CMU here. So he could see both sides of the coin, the really abstract theory and the down and dirty practical side of actually building these massive, complex systems that, power the sites we all use every single day.
Okay, so let's look at his first major revolution. This all went down at a company called Endeca. And he took on a problem that made online shopping back in the day an absolute nightmare. Seriously.
You might remember this, or maybe you're lucky enough not to. Before Endeca, shopping online was this painful process of clicking through a super rigid tree of categories. You'd go apparel, then men, then footwear, then athletic, and if you made one wrong click, boom, dead end. You had to go all the way back and start over. It was awful. Tunkelang's idea, faceted search, just completely blew that whole model up. Suddenly, you could filter by any attribute you wanted, brand, size, color, price, in any order. It totally flipped the script and gave the power back to you, the user.
And here is the absolute genius behind how it worked. He made a distinction between constraints and preferences. A constraint is a total deal breaker, right? Like a shoe has to be your size, or a plug has to fit your outlet. It's non-negotiable. But a preference, that's a soft desire. It's negotiable. You might be looking for a blue shirt, but hey, if there's a great deal on a black one, you'll probably consider it. The problem was, old systems treated everything like a hard constraint, and that's exactly why a search for red shirt would totally hide that perfect maroon one you would have absolutely loved.
So after completely changing the game in e-commerce at Endeca, Tunkelang took on an even messier, even more complicated challenge over at LinkedIn, searching for people. I mean, think about it. Products have neat little categories and specs. People? We are infinitely more complex.
And his core argument there was super simple. Garbage in, garbage out. You could build the most powerful, most sophisticated ranking algorithm in the entire world, but if the system completely misunderstands the user's initial query, it's all useless. It's just wasted computation. If you get that very first translation wrong, every single thing that follows is just a waste of electricity.
And this is a great example of how he solved it. He used a process called query understanding. So a tool called named entity recognition, think of it like a smart highlighter that can identify key concepts in a sentence. It takes a messy human phrase like Gucci bags for women and just deconstructs it. It breaks it down into clean, structured data the machine can actually work with. Brand is Gucci, category is handbags, gender is female. Now, the search engine can act with real precision.
And all of this gets to the fundamental barrier that Tunkelang was just obsessed with breaking, what he called the vocabulary mismatch problem. It's simple, right? You say sneakers, but the company's database says athletic footwear, and boom, the search fails. But he realized this wasn't some simple dictionary problem you could just fix by creating a big list of synonyms. No, it was a much deeper translation problem. And the only way to solve it was to analyze the behavior of millions of real people, to see what they search for, what they click on, and what they actually buy.
Okay, so let's say we've done it. We've translated the query correctly. Awesome. But now what? How do we actually measure if the results we show are any good? Tunkelang looked at how the industry was measuring search quality and realized they were missing a huge, crucial piece of the puzzle. So the first pillar of quality is something called precision. And this is the most basic test of all. It just asks, are the results relevant? You search for apple, do you get pictures of fruit, or do you get computers? Precision is all about getting nothing but the truth.
All right, the second pillar is recall. And this is basically the flip side of the coin. It measures, did you find everything that's relevant? So let's say there are 10 amazing books on a topic, but your search only shows you 2 of them. Well, you've got high precision, but your recall is terrible. Recall is about getting the whole truth.
But here's Tunkelang's game-changing addition to this whole model: desirability. And this asks a completely different question. He said, forget about relevance for just a second. Is this result actually good? Like, is it a 5-star product? Is it from a source you can trust? Is it something people actually want to buy? And this is so important because search engines all the time confuse a desirable item with the relevant one. Here's a classic example. You search for headphones, but the very top result is some little adapter cable. Why? Well, because that cable sells like crazy and has amazing reviews. It's super desirable, but it's not what you asked for. It's completely irrelevant. Tunkelang's rule fixes this fatal flaw. The rule is simple. Relevance always comes first. Desirability is only, and I mean only, ever used to break a tie between 2 results that are equally relevant. All right, so let's fast forward to today. Because this whole framework that Tunkelang built gives us a really powerful, really clear-eyed way to look at all the hype around modern AI agents. So Tunkelang's take is that today's AI is fantastic at one thing: simple execution. You give it a very specific command, like book me a flight to Paris, and yeah, it'll do it. But what it's terrible at is exploration. That open-ended, kind of messy way that we humans actually think and learn. I mean, we rarely start by knowing exactly what we want, do we? Our intent, our goal, it evolves as we discover new stuff. And he warns that this obsession with just completing the task creates what he calls a curiosity gap. The AI just gives you a single confident answer, but in doing so, it kind of robs you of the journey of discovery. It doesn't help you understand the alternatives, it doesn't help you learn the context, and it sure doesn't help you stumble upon something new and unexpected. It just hides all of its own uncertainty behind this mask of perfect confidence.
So when you put it all together, what he left us with, the Tunkelang Doctrine, it's this incredibly powerful set of principles for building tech that actually serves people. It's a reminder that, yeah, structure matters because users need filters to navigate. Words matter because that vocabulary mismatch is the central challenge. Value matters because results have to be good, not just relevant. And maybe most importantly, process matters. We shouldn't be wasting time on projects that don't have a real impact on a real user.
And that really leaves us with this final, powerful thought. Tunkelang's entire career is this constant reminder that the point of all this incredibly complex engineering, it isn't just to build a smarter machine. It's about building better connections. Connections between people and ideas, between people and opportunities, and really, between people and each other. In the end, it was never just about the code, it was always about the connection.